Are you playing the sort of small cap domestic recovery story?
Well, we're in Phoenix, Arizona, so we're mountain time. It's not quite as bad as it used to be when we were on the Pacific Coast time. We are, we have been, and we are because we're buying formerly large cap stocks that have been decimated and are no longer large cap stocks. So we're getting involved in this only because of how brutal the market has been on value. And you mentioned already in your newscast, Simon Properties. We own Simon Properties. We have about 2.7% of our portfolio in Simon. I'm going to pick on you a little bit, Brian. When you ask somebody that's probably in New York, and if you're in New York and you ask somebody if they've been in a mall, the answer is, I can't remember when. And then if you ask somebody from Phoenix, they'll say twice this week. So what's wrong with people's thinking is we are at the very end of the imprisonment of these quarantines. Now, the current episode is nasty. Don't get me wrong. It's nasty. But the appetite for local entertainment and the value of the underlying property is going to go through the roof. Staycation will be the magic once we get out of this jail.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would agree with that only, Bill, in a sense that when you drive around the country, as I have in the last few months, that the attitude is very different than it is here in the Northeast. And of course, but what we see and what we live in here does tend to color sort of our coverage of it. There is no doubt about that. Certainly cases spiking either way. Listen, as a major shareholder, are you happy with that revised deal for Taubman? Do you still think they got a fair price? Do they still overpay, even though they're paying less?
Well, I think that based on where we are right now, it's a very fair price. And David Simon has done it again. He is a straw hats in winter person, and he is buying all the right straw hats right now in the winter. And it's very fair because the deal was done right before the COVID thing hit. So remember, these people own a massive number of acres of land in the most attractive locations all across the country. There was just a deal this last week in Orange County where Taylor Morrison, the home builder, bought a bunch of land from one of the mall owners because they probably want to build condos or townhomes on the property for $160 million for one of these tiny market cap establishments. So again,
then you could just not a bad idea in California, right? The car culture becoming more of a walking culture in certain areas. But before we let you go, Bill, I got to ask you this. We have OPEC technical meetings this week. December 1st is really the big meeting with OPEC Plus. We talk a lot about the future of oil and gas and fracking in America lately. I see you're a big owner of Continental Resources. You're obviously not scared off by the current price point or the current political environment.
Brian, we always have our kind of outlandish thought of the year. And for the last 2 or 3 years, our outlandish thought was that the millennials would eventually move themselves all across the country to find a better cost of living outside the expensive coastal cities. But now we have a new outlandish thought. Our new outlandish thought is Joe Biden doing a fireside chat with the American public in 2 years, wearing a cardigan sweater, asking people to turn their thermostats down so the people in California can charge their cars.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.